How's it going, WGUR? Once again, we're here in Lanier Hall at WGUR's studio. We're 95.3 The Noise, and I'm sitting here today with a local musician, Zach Farr. How's it going, Zach?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. So you've been a musician for quite a while. Now, where are you from again?
I'm from Americus.
You're from Americus. Now, you've been a local kind of musician for several years too. Where are some of the towns that you've been appearing at?
Well, the place where I've probably played music the most is Macon.
Okay.
Macon, there's the kind of group there making noise records.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kind of more experimental kind of music there. Really, really good music that comes out of that. And that's mostly where I've played music, is within that group.
Okay, so how long have you been operating and creating here in Milledgeville?
I mean, since I moved here, I've been playing music in 2012, fall 2012.
Okay. So can you tell us about some of the experiences you've had growing as a musician here in Milledgeville, and maybe some of the pros and cons to being a small town musician?
Yeah, well, I think being a small town musician, a lot of the growth has been, I mean, I've played with a lot of people, but a lot of it's been on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Like this record, this Monty record, most of it was just done by myself, messing around on a computer. I put out an EP before that and kind of figured out how to do it myself and then put that out. And so I think there's a bit of isolation that goes in with it.
Yeah.
That's kind of helped me to kind of develop kind of a sound on my own.
Yeah.
But also it's close enough to, Macon and Atlanta, and there are musicians here that I've definitely been influenced heavily by a lot of people in those areas.
So it's easier to kind of find that creator's isolation, but also have that kind of network with Milledgeville and reach out and play with
Exactly.
other
It feels
people.
like there's an option there. And
Yeah.
I don't have to be plugged in so much, and I don't have to be by myself so much. It's good.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this new album you created. It's called Officer Monty. Is that right?
Monty is the name of the project, and Officer is the name of the album. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you tell us about how long did it take you to create this? I mean, was there an intensive creative process, or did you pop it out like the Foo Fighters with the new album?
No, this one I was working on it for about 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, I started working on that one pretty much like about 6 months after I moved to Milledgeville.
Okay. I've listened to most of it, and it definitely has a broad kind of genre going. It jumps around between a bunch of different kinds of sounds. But how would you yourself best describe this work as far as genre and type of music?
Genre. Acid folk.
Acid folk. Okay. I can dig that.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me about, there was this one song that I enjoyed quite a lot. It's called African Boy. Is there a story behind that?
Well, put it in context of that album. The album tells several stories. One of them is just an opening up of myself, kind of spiritually, I guess, and it kind of tells a narrative. And that song comes at a point in the narrative of a lot of discontentment, self-loathing sort of kind of thing. I wish I were. It's just all I wish. I were different. Which I think is a necessary part of this process to awakening, to opening up, because it says, there's something greater, there's something more, and then, eventually, like, to find contentment, you find that that's something more you had all along, kind of thing. You just have to open up to see it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a lot of creative thought went into this piece of work. So, 3 years. That's a long time to work on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were there any kind of otherworldly experiences that played into the creation of this?
There were several. Some I won't mention. There's a theme on the album of Pleiadians and reptilians, which is it's this whole myth of this like alien species called the Pleiadians.
Okay.
And they're like these fifth dimensional beings who were once like humans, but evolved to a point where they can shapeshift because they're in tune with the subtlest nature of reality, that they're not attached to their bodies. And
sounds like an Asimov story, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and yeah, they got there through, like love and compassion and higher consciousness. And then in the same myth, there's the reptilians who evolve just because the nature of things is to evolve, and they got to the point where they could shapeshift too.
Okay.
And they knew the nature of matter, and they could manipulate it in such a way, but they did it with greed and ego and hatred and maliciousness.
Okay.
And so it's very just like a dark and light
Yin
story.
yang kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's kind of a story that the album tells. And they say that they exist as humans and shapeshift as humans to try to help us to evolve our consciousness. And certain politicians might be reptilians, and then like all the do-gooders are Pleiadians.
Okay.
And they say if you reverse certain public speeches of the do-gooders, then you get Pleiadian messages. And there's one song in particular on the album, Winter Ghost, that pretty much all the lyrics are clips from reversed public speeches of the do-gooders.
Okay. I think I remember listening to this. And
Yeah,
I didn't really know what was
it's
going
really
on.
disjunct lyrics, and
Okay.
so yeah. But yeah, and so to me that story just gives hope, that even if it's just super far out sci-fi, it's that there is another level of consciousness that we haven't gotten to yet, where I feel like humans are kind of in this puberty stage of consciousness, and the album kind of reflects that.
I can agree to that, and that's a very, that's a complex idea to wrap your head around, but I can definitely get into what you're talking about right there, the whole, where we have yet to really see what we can achieve with human potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a really cool way, this album does kind of reflect that adventure. So with this kind of, as you described, acid folk, how receptive do you feel, not only just acid folk, but to the local Milledgeville scene? How receptive do you feel like the locals in the college are to all the varied kinds of music we find in this place?
I mean, mixed. I've had people be like, I respect it, but it's not my thing. And then I've had other people like be really into it. I didn't really so much make it with the reception of it in mind. It was just kind of a flow, but I know a lot of people who could get with it for sure. It definitely kind of fits the vein of like Animal Collective, Sufjan Stevens, Dirty Projectors, a little bit kind of stuff.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Again, the album is called Officer Monty. This is Zach Farr. We're here at WGUR 95.3 The Noise, located at Georgia College in Lanier Hall.
Show me everything I don't see. I'll give the same to you.
So this was WGUR 95.3 The Noise. I'm Ian McNeil. This was Zach Farr. He was showing us songs from his new album, Officer. The group's name is Monty. Be sure to check this out on Facebook, YouTube, and all of the other Bobcat Nation goodness. This is us signing out.
Zach Farr. It's my name. What do I say there?
That.